All right, what's going on YouTube? So today we are doing a full in-depth review of my 2013 Mark 6 Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Actually, she's looking pretty filthy. All right, all clean. Let's go get some coffee.
It's delicious.
Let's get this show on the road. All right, so 2013 Volkswagen Jetta GLI Mark 6. The full in-depth review. I'm going to start off with what I dislike about this vehicle, just because it seems like everyone is way more interested in the bad rather than the good. I've owned this car for about a month now, and a little bit less than a month actually, and I put a little bit over 1,000 miles on it. I've tried to not drive it, but I really just enjoy driving it. So I find myself going on like little tiny day trips. Number one is the cheap interior pieces. All the plastic little pieces, they're very cheaply made. They're not high quality, which I'm not really going to complain about because it's a pretty inexpensive car to begin with. You know, a BMW or a Mercedes, you pay that high price tag because those little tiny details, they are accounted for. In this car, they're not really accounted for because it's a more inexpensive vehicle. There are plenty of other features that exceed the price tag of this vehicle, which I'll get into later in this video. But that's probably the main thing I dislike about this vehicle, just the little tiny cheap details, especially on the interior, also kind of on the exterior, like the grille, the front grille. I'll show you when I get out of the car later on in the video. But overall, I really can't think of any other things that I honestly dislike off the top of my head. Getting into the things I love about this vehicle, number one, first and foremost, if you checked out my previous video, I just posted that like a day or two ago. If you check that out, then you would know where I stand as far as my history of vehicles go, and you would know why I like this vehicle and why I got this vehicle, which mainly is because it's so buttery smooth. I mean, suspension is like crisp as all hell. It's insane because it rides like an Audi, which obviously Volkswagen and Audi are the same company, but it doesn't have the price tag of an Audi, which is honestly astonishing because it rides just like an Audi. It's honestly very enjoyable to drive. The clutch and the shifter, obviously you don't have to deal with that if you are in an automatic, but if you're a real man and you drive a manual, then you would obviously know that certain vehicles, they don't have beautiful clutches. Like my G35, for example, my Infiniti G35, that had a terrible clutch. It was, I wouldn't say terrible clutch, it was just so overly sporty that it was honestly kind of a pain in the ass to drive. This is buttery smooth. I mean, it's super crisp. It's firm, you can tell it's there. It's, you know, it's not super light, but it's still very smooth. It's honestly really awesome. Another feature I love about this car is the rollback assist. Now, I personally never really had a problem rolling back, but now I find myself just being super lazy. Another thing I love about this vehicle, the Fender audio system. It is absolutely killer. I mean, it's literally like a $4,000 sound system. Like, I'm not even exaggerating there. I've had $1,000 sound systems, and they do not sound anywhere near as good as this car does. This sound system is amazing. I mean, the amount of bass it has and the amount of clarity it has is ridiculous. I mean, this is like the equivalent of a Harman Kardon sound system, which we all know is in a lot of upper end vehicles. I believe it's in the Mercedes, or it might be the BMW. One of those two has the Harman Kardon sound system. And I mean, obviously you're paying an arm and a leg for the car, so you better have a good sound system. But this Fender sound system is actually really good, and it's very comparable to that sound system. So I'm actually going to flip the camera around. We're on a really, really nice stretch of road right now, and I'm going to let you guys see how this thing handles. This car, GLI, obviously, I've already said how much I love the way it drives. But not only you know, does it drive well? It handles corners really, really well, and it's actually pretty damn fast. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'm gonna let you guys check it out for yourself. So the outside review of this baby. First and foremost, I did talk about the grill being kind of cheap. That's what I'm talking about when I say the grill's kind of cheap. This like little chrome piece is off and I cannot get it back in. I'm not too worried about it, number one, because it's pretty non-noticeable unless you really look for it. Or in my case, if you're planning on doing a front bumper swap anyways, I plan on doing the bumper swap with the 2017 models because they're really, really aggressive looking. They look a lot different than these ones. One of my favorite features about the car is actually the rims, though. I just cleaned them up, so they're sparkling right now. But I'm not so much of a like tuner kind of guy. Not that I wouldn't ever have a tuner. I definitely would. I definitely like them. But for this car specifically, I was going, or am going for, more of a luxurious performance look. So that is why I ended up going, I wouldn't say going with, that's why I'm happy that I got these rims, because they're pretty simple. And they, at least to me, they look very luxurious and performance driven. So they kind of have the style of what I like in the car. I mean, overall, I'm sure that you've all seen the 2013s because they're the same from 2012 all the way to 2016, or no, 15, I believe. 2016 they changed, and 2017 they changed. But overall, I mean, it's pretty basic on the outside. Nothing major going on just yet. And then as far as like the cheap plastic pieces, these are what I was talking about. They're just kind of chintzy. I mean, you're really not going to know from me pressing the buttons over here how chintzy they are. I mean, they're not that bad. Like, you know, I can obviously use them. One of the pain in the ass things I have about this car, whenever I turn, I always hit this voice recognition key, and the lady pops up and she's like, voice recognition active, main menu, your options are suck a dick, go buy a new car, like fucking a whole bunch of different shit. And I'm not interested in, number one, I'm not interested in hitting the button I didn't even want to hit the button, but every time I turn, I accidentally hit it somehow. And on top of that, the fact that she pops up and tells me the main menu every single time, like, yeah, I think after the first 10 times, I've, memorized exactly what she said. So, kind of annoying. That's like the one little feature on this interior, other than the cheap plastic pieces that I really honestly hate. But obviously the way the car drives, all the good things I was saying about it, that far outweighs those little tiny details. I mean, if you're going to buy a car based off of how its interior plastic is, then you really need to start prioritizing things in your car. But yeah, overall, awesome car. Definitely a big fan. I'm going to flip the camera around so you guys can see my beautiful face. All right, well, that was the full in-depth review. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. If you'd like to see anything specific, make sure you put that in the comment section below. Definitely hit that like button and subscribe. I got a lot of new videos hoping to come out. And on top of that, if you are into cars, which I'm assuming you are because you watched this entire video, definitely check out my Instagram page. It will be in the description below, a link to my Instagram page. And yeah, that should be really awesome. If you're into cars, I do a lot of professional automotive photography. That's actually all I do on that page. So you'll definitely enjoy all those different pictures. So it's blank.face.photography. I'll also leave a link in the description. I hope to see you guys soon.